Good,
So,
thanks.
Dwight, thank you for coming to Box Talk. I appreciate you coming over here. We're joined by Dwight, as you know it, from humble beginnings in his home kitchen to a growing brand with loyal following. Dwight, founder of Dwight's Brownies Co.
Yeah.
He has captured hearts and tastes with his stuffed brownies and cookies that has indulged as they are unforgettable. His story is one of grit, creativity, and authenticity, a true example of what happens when you combine passion with purpose. Whether it's a gooey brownie stuffed with peanut butter or a cookie loaded with flavor, Dwight's creations speak for themselves. But what's just as impressive is the thought and care he's put into every detail of the business, um, from the product itself to the branding and packaging that wraps each treat. So, Dwight, I welcome you. We're excited to dive into this journey, the challenges you faced, the lessons you've learned, and how thoughtful packaging has played into your business. Dwight, I'd like to welcome you to Box Talk. How are you, sir?
Thank you. It's hard to say anything after that intro. My goodness gracious. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've never been introduced like that in my life. So thank you.
Really?
I'm
Hey,
doing,
I
yeah,
hope there's a
yeah,
lot
it's
more
huge.
intros like that too.
Yeah, I think so. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to talk some shop and talk to you about my story and, everything I've
Yeah,
done for my
I would
company
love
so
to
far and how
love
we're
to
going to
talk.
grow.
Yeah, would love to deep dive into this. Would love to speak to you about your brand, how you made it, what you did, your journey as an individual, and your journey as a business. So, what inspired you to start Dwight's Brownies Co.?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be kind of deep here. Obviously, so been a chef for a long time, was a pastry chef at the start for about 10 years of my career, went into the executive chef role. And you keep growing in a company where you're kind of living somebody else's dream. And it's like, man, it would be cool to just start my own, right? I've had these skills since I was 18, I'm 36 now, and I'm like, why don't I just start my own brand? And my beautiful wife who's in the other room there working hard. I found the right partner. I just told her all my dreams. Like, hey, I've had this dream about starting a brownie and cookie company, and I know it's going to take a lot of work, but I would be so passionate starting that. Like, you're scared because you don't even know where to start. Like, how do I find? We'll go into packaging later. I spent months even trying to do research on how to find and how do you know what's real, what's not. How can you make it good, make it bad? I actually have a box I'll show you with the first one I had. It was terrible. I'm like, man, I spent all this money on that side to repivot, but I just really wanted to follow my dreams because we have one life on this earth. I wanted to at least give it a try and do my best because I think I know I can succeed at it. And we've been pretty decent so far, but I know with some collaboration will expand even more. And you work for companies for so many years. What's working 2, 3, 4, 5 years on your own company and what it could produce is, I think, the dream that everybody kind of wants in life. So that's what I'm going for.
Did you work as an employee as a chef before, or because I believe you worked a lot as an employee before starting your own
Yeah,
brand? Did
yeah,
you? Okay,
definitely.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
good because
yeah,
I think a lot of people do that before jumping into a business rather than starting right off from the bat. A lot of entrepreneurs, such as yourself, they've worked as an employee in the past and then transitioned into being a self-employer, employed by themselves. And I think that's a great start because if you're not an employee, what I believe is if you're not an employee, how it's going to be pretty challenging for you to be an employer in the future.
uh yeah,
Yeah, that's great. What kind of careers have you had before starting your own brownie company?
yeah, man. I'll give you up to I went to culinary school. First job was a pastry cook on the low end of the totem pole, the Ritz Carlton in Cleveland, Ohio. I traveled a lot to Florida, was still a pastry cook. Got my first chef gig, first high up chef gig in Pittsburgh, PA. Was a
Uh,
pastry chef there. Worked in Australia a couple times. Just one time went for a working holiday visa. And then when I got the Met
I've
job,
heard about those working holiday visas. I've heard of
yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah. I got it for years. So I'm like, why not? Why not go there and cook and learn? I learned a lot about that and how to. And that was a Michelin star restaurant there, so that was like highest to the high, very demanding. Um, got on the Food Network when I was in Pittsburgh, which was a huge thing for me. Just got the email, hey man, we saw your work, it's good. Would you want to be on the show? And I'm like, duh, right? Of course. And that made me feel a bit validated to do that. Then after I got on the show, I finished pretty decent. And then I
Yeah,
got the call.
you earned the validation that you needed. You earned your keep, and you got the validation that you needed because that gave you the confidence to do your own thing.
Yeah,
But man, in Australia, working as at a five-star Michelin is pretty up there, I would say. But that's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
It is
I
pretty
don't
up
think you
there.
know though. Like looking back in your career, like I was so young at the time. I was like, okay, I'm coming in. I'm working 1,000 hours a week. I'm cooking, and you reflect back on your career, like, man, that was actually pretty awesome what I did. Because who flies there to work for a restaurant at a pretty high up place and kind of solidifies your resume on top of that. Like I look back on that very fondly. Then I got the on TV, got a call from the Met and said, "Hey, we'd like you for our, pastry chef." I'm like, "Okay." And then got to fly out, got wined and dined, and then took that position. That really was like, man, maybe I do have this. If people are calling me, I'm not reaching out, and that really, as you spoke about being an employee, it really helps you because you understand SOPs, you understand labor, you understand cost of goods, you understand how it impacts you, but you also understand what type of boss you want to be to your employees, right? You know the day to
Right.
day what it takes when people come in, bad days, good days, no matter what. You're like, I see that because I lived through it. I grew my career from 18 to now this, and I know every level what it takes and how you're working hard. And now I can instill that in my business of what I see is really good work ethic, intangibles, and what I'm looking forward to lead a team. And I think that really helped me out and really got this project up and running because I'm just very passionate about food. I love to make people happy with what I make. I think that's what every chef wants to do, right, for big days and stuff like that. And I really think it can grow and be a generational thing and really make me more fulfilled in life when you're on your own project. As you know, when you do your own project, you care so much about it. It doesn't matter the hours you work, excuse me, the time you put in, because it's kind of your baby, right? So
I
yeah.
think putting in the exact amount of hours before starting your own company is very crucial to be successful. Now, what you did was you worked as you're a culinary chef by trade, and then you worked towards you worked your trade for a while, and then even after all this experience, you still went over and started a business that's not a restaurant, and I think that's a kudos to you because in my opinion, you're still going at a low risk and a low reward. Well, I hope the reward's high, but you're still
Yeah.
not. I personally think that a person of your tenure should should have the experience of having his own restaurant and having a bunch of people employed under him and having all sorts of knowing the nitty gritty details all the way till everything about owning and operating a restaurant, but still you chose to open up a brownie company that exclusively does brownies. Do you see any sort of a future in having a brick and mortar? Because I think you're gonna go towards that, given that the
Yeah.
success you've been seeing in your brownies. Are you gonna ever go to a brick and mortar, or maybe you're gonna? It's gonna take a while. I understand that, but are you still gonna go towards having your own restaurant, or maybe having a dessert menu with your brownies? And because I know you make a lot of steaks on Instagram, I've seen your
Yeah.
ribeyes,
Yeah.
seen how you
Yeah. I
make
do a
them.
lot of stuff. Yeah, I think maybe, right? So I definitely wanted to go on the online route too because I invested all my money. I didn't borrow anything. I had no investors and I was able to put in what I've worked so hard to have. And I saw just the trend that's setting in this world, especially with the younger generation, is click and it's there, right? So I saw, man, online you have freedom of being able to get your shipping down, everything down, and people see it and they want it and they can get that satisfaction right away. And I just saw the revenue was worth it that way. And I thought it was a good spot to get my foot in the door. I definitely do
Oh, definitely.
want the brick and mortar.
That's definitely
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
door.
and I saw, I researched how, Apple, especially Amazon, all these people that started these businesses, nobody believed it. But then when they, Amazon was the first one online, right? Everybody's like started as a bookstore, did this, then all of a sudden it's the first app on my phone because it's the quickest I can get. So I'm like, let me try to come up with something like that to where somebody has a sweet tooth or they want something, they can literally click, it's there, and I get my foot in the whole online entrepreneurship and how that e-commerce works, and
Right.
that could be a good flow as well. And then soon, I definitely, maybe in a few years, once I see that growth and the collaboration and everything going on in the cooking shows, stuff like that, then I think that would be the time to definitely do a brick and mortar to where it's very hospitable and I can put all my years and tenureship and how hospitality works and how I can put the fine details and how I train the staff to make it a really awesome experience that maybe nobody's had just with something so simple that can be made elegant. of what I've learned in
Well,
my
it was
career.
simple for you, not for people who see, because I bet your brownies taste. There's a lot of hard work went into your product, and I think that makes me crave a lot of them too. I feel like I want to have one right now, but there's no way for you to ship it over to international waters. But my what's the rules and regulations regarding shipping perishable items like food and edibles? Is it? I'm sure you're doing it, but like,
Yeah.
is there
Oh yeah.
sort of a quota
It
on it?
just it's not too strict, right? I have to have insurance on it if I send it through anywhere like that, especially overseas is a bit tougher right now. I have to sign a couple of forms like that, but the regulations aren't as tough as you think. I have not sent anything across any border yet. I'm definitely hoping to, but obviously I'm in the U.S. right now. But I'm hoping once I get that first order, I'll have to go. It'll probably be tough to learn because it's something new for me. I have a whole book that I have that's over here. This whole table I show you is just covered and stuff like that. I just have notes. Okay, how do I do international shipping? What's the best product to do this? How can we change this? How can we do this better? But I'm definitely that's something that's still, as you know, it's just a continuous work and flow. And one thing about business I'm learning, especially when you're in place, you really use all your stuff and you learn as you go, right? You make mistakes, you fail. And if it's your first time doing something, I just keep pushing forward and we'll get to the boxes, man. That was my biggest push because, when I found you guys, man, I went to my wife. I'm like, this is what I've been searching for. Like I spent months and months, websites, calls, everything like that, and nothing was what I liked. I'm like, guys, why can't you just send me something that looks beautiful? It's very elegant
Yeah,
thing,
like that was the word I was
it
gonna
looks
say.
elevated, right? And then I found I'm like, man, finally somebody gets it. Like it took me probably 5 or 6 months, half a year to find
Right.
my
Yeah.
support
The
just for
minute I
one
looked at
product.
Yes, yeah. The minute I looked at it, I said, "Hey, man, what the hell is this? Is this what kind of a box is this? What is it?" Then it said Dwight's Brownies. I'm like, "Wow, brownies go in this box. That's beautiful." I don't know. Since we're already talking about the box, I'm just gonna show it to you right here. The
Yeah,
That's your box right here. It looks great,
man.
as is, black, white font, and
Yeah,
just it says DB Co, which is pretty catchy
yeah,
for a short name.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Simple,
and
and
there's some
you
sort
you
of
do
embossing over
research.
here too. You got that done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yep. Oh,
Nice.
it's just beautiful. And I think that's something that when you get shipped to your house, or hopefully we can start wholesale soon, that you walk in, you're like, man, this speaks high class. It speaks elegance. It speaks all that. Because my
Right.
theory was when you buy an iPhone, the most exciting thing about an iPhone to me is the packaging, how it's just beautiful. You open it, you do that, and you're like, man, I like the packaging more than the phone. So I really
Consistency,
want,
because
yeah, yes,
it's pretty consistent in terms of design. And if you
hmm
ever would want to change some packaging on it, we would be happy to do so. Because even if you look at an iPhone, it did change its packaging over the years. However, there were some consistencies that it still kept, which were
yeah,
the essence of the packaging. Now, I believe that your box does is elegant, and I think it does your products justice. If I imagine some nice black or dark brown brownies in this box, and if you open it up and you look at it, the box would definitely do it justice. And I think that's a very, very great idea to have. Did you design the artwork on the box?
yeah. I went. Oh my gosh. With all the AI and the chat and stuff like that, my wife is, I would almost say, a pseudo artist in there. She might laugh at me if that she's really good. I'm like, I need
Pseudo artist.
a design. Yeah, I need a design that because I went through so many different designs, right? Because that's the biggest thing. A logo and branding is your biggest thing. People ask me eye catching. I'm like, how can I make this eye catching? So with Life Franco, down like DBCCom like that, you see the three letters and you're like, boom, I know what that is. It's simple, it's elegant, and it's quick. But yeah, I designed all that stuff, and the man hours. I think people don't understand where you sit there and you're at midnight and your brain's going off and you make your notes and you're going and you just want it to be the best you can be. But I also know what you said. Like this will evolve, right? That this is version one. Who knows in a year, 2 years? Well, what's going to be version two and three? You're like, man, why didn't I think of that? And look what I love the collaboration that we have where I could speak freely to you when we're text basis and DM based. Where I'm like, hey, listen, I got a great idea. Let's change it up in a year. I think this will go. Then we'll look back like, man,
Yeah.
you took every step to make it great, and look where we started, and look where we're at. Like, and I'm just so excited about that. And I'm giddy and I just cannot wait to sell more product, do more collaborations, and get the name out
Right.
there, which is going to take some time. But I'm willing to put in the time and what it takes to make it grow and to do this box justice, do your guys' work justice. Because
Right.
like I freak out. I text all my friends in the group chat. I'm like, man, this is it. Like, man, what are you selling? Diamonds in there? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, cookies and brownies.
It
Like,
looks
man,
like a
my guy,
subscription box.
yeah, yeah. And I want something. I love the gloss on it. It's shiny. It's embossed. It's raised, and it's just it's worth every penny of it.
And I
Like,
hope your
it's
customers like it even more.
yeah, I think so. Because my main thing is I want them to get over like, wow, like man, I don't even care what's inside at this point. This box is gonna be good, no matter what. Because the first impression
Speaking
as
of
a
your
chef, you grow up
products,
with first.
yeah, exactly. This box, I mean, it does the product justice. I just
Yeah,
think that this looks really, really remarkable. I think it's kudos to
yeah,
you because of the design, and your customers are, they're happy and they know what to expect. That's great.
yeah.
And
Appreciate it.
what the things in the box? Let's talk about that. The product in the box. What kind of a product? What kind of brownies? So you're stuffed brownies, and they're pretty popular. What's
Yeah.
those? What's the? I mean, I'm not going to ask you the key your ingredients, but what have your clients, what have your customers reviewed about your
Yeah,
brownies? What kind of your skills for all those years? How do you use them? Because there's a lot of products out there in the market, but how does it make your product different than the ones out there? Because it's you're in your hands. What's special in your hands and your ingredients and the way you make?
yeah, yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of research and development for 18 years doing this recipe because you go out so simple as a brownie. You're like, okay, I get a Hostess one. I can go to this restaurant, get this one. I can buy whatever. I'm like, I want something that's different. I want it to be mostly chocolate. I don't want any leavening in it. I don't want any baking powder, baking soda. I don't want a lot of flour. I just want it to be very pure. So the purest form of chocolate people love is ganache, heavy cream and chocolate, right? You pour it on cakes, they put it in chocolate fountains, whatever. I'm like, how can I turn something like that into just some indulgent brownie that people would love to eat and want to come back for more, and it's worth the price. I mean, one of those things probably weighs 5 ounces. They're huge and they're really heavy, and I'm like, so I R&D'd it for years to make sure it was good by weight, by percentage of chocolate, by different blood. Do I use bread flour, cake flour, pastry flour? I went to the percentages of that to make sure. Okay, I don't want it to be too tough, but when I bake it, I want to keep its shape when I cut it. Um, the flavors. What type of vanilla do I use? Do I use any salt? What type of salt? Like I went into like a chef's dream is to come with their own recipe and just go into it. I'm sure you can tell by the way I'm talking about it. I'm extremely passionate about how I went
Yeah,
into it.
yeah,
Like,
I can. You went into
I get
the small
excited.
little details, and right, I understand. You went into the nitty gritty details, uh, the crux of it, and then you're really passionate about it. And so yeah, you come up with it, and is there a specific flavor you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, and then I decided to stuff the thing too to even bring it up more. So when I need to send you pictures, like when I cut it in half, it just looks unreal. But
Do
I
you have
just
one
want it to
on you?
be.
You got one on
I
you?
don't know, no, because so the good thing about this company and what I do is I try to make everything fresh.
Okay.
Because I think
No,
a
I
lot
thought
of
maybe
people
you
will
had
make it.
something ready right now for a quick bite.
I wish I did. I try to stay fit, so I try to stay away from that to eat.
Yeah.
I do test everything I make and everything like that, but I
Well,
don't because
well, speaking of
we keep
fitness,
selling them.
you are pretty fit. How much? I've seen your videos. You're benching a lot. You're on the
Yeah,
machines. You
yeah.
stay fit, and although brownies they have sugar in them, but have you ever looked into making an alternative version of brownies that go hand in hand with fitness? Something that's with low sugar and high protein. I know it's kind of hard to do with brownies because since there are a lot of carbs in them, but have you ever thought of that? Because that would go very well with your personality, physical and mental.
Yeah, I've definitely looked into it. After I got this recipe, the indulgent brownie down, right? That okay, it's my cheat meal, it's my cheat day. Let me eat one or whatever with that. I've delved into that. I'm still trying to perfect that recipe because you get into some artificial sweeteners and sugars like that, but I still want it to be pure. So I'm almost looking to more like agave and honey, and almost like the Middle Eastern route to join different flavors that might people might not see as sweet. like cardamom and stuff like that to try to bring the sweetness without actual sugar. So I'm still working on that, but that's something on my radar because that's something I try to find a lot in stores. Like you get protein bars that just have this really bad taste to them. There's that one company that has the cookie that just tastes like leather and cardboard. So that's on my radar, and that might be version two that we look at, right? I might need, hey man, I need to watch for this bodybuilding style of thing that's 40 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugar that you can eat and not feel guilty about eating and really get that fix in while still following your regimen and going through that.
I think it's pretty
And then,
doable having a product like that that's very
yeah,
body. It caters towards fitness and bodybuilding. I've seen a lot of protein bars out there that they are sweet, but just like the specifications you mentioned, they're 40 grams
yeah,
of protein and 2 grams of carbs and very low sugar. I think you could definitely pull that off. Make a protein brownie. Maybe I give you an
yeah,
idea of that name, but
yeah,
you can definitely do that. What kind of challenges you faced regarding? I know there's a lot of challenge you did mention, but is there any specific challenge you faced while starting it or during the stage? I know you talked about the packaging. That was a big challenge for sure.
yeah.
And
It
thank
was
God
huge.
we fixed it for you at Half Price
Thank you.
Packaging.
Yes,
But
yes,
did you find any other hurdles that you had to jump over? Something
yeah.
logistically, something to do with math, some complicated stuff.
I think, and this is going to sound silly, but maybe people have not done it. I think it is obviously getting your cost of goods to where you need to be to make somewhat of a profit, right? But
Right.
also the logistics in shipping, picking your company you want to go with the ship, making your own labels and doing it that way to do it on your end and trying to save people money because nobody wants to spend, okay, I spent $65 on a dozen brownies or cookies and now I'm going to spend 20 bucks in shipping. No, I'm not going to do that. So just trying to find a way to not push the shipping costs to the consumer and eat that cost myself so they can actually eat my product without having to spend an arm and a leg was my one of the hardest hurdles I had to face while still trying to put out an elegant product that I'm proud of and people are proud of to serve and pull out of the packaging and keep the packaging, right?
Exactly.
So because it's marketing on top of that for both of us really.
Yeah.
So I think that was a hard part to wrap my head around and being a consumer myself of many things. I'm like, man, like if I was buying this, what would I be willing to spend and not spend, and what do I want to see in the product, and how do I get to point A to point B with not passing on that cost to the consumer and still being able to make a great product was man, it just it's mind blowing. It's something so simple that maybe nobody thinks of, but it's like man, when you're on your own doing it, you're like, okay, so if shipping, if I'm going to eat the shipping, it's going to cost me $25 to just ship the package. I got to buy the box, the package, the shipping, the labels, and everything. It's like, well, I'm negative now, and just trying to find the secret sauce to that was was very challenging and probably kept me up more nights than I
Okay.
dare tell you. You
Yeah,
know,
it does. It does. Trying to find the secret to what your customers might like does get challenging. But I'm glad you went over
yeah,
it, and then I'm glad you made learn from your mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, did you make any
yeah.
mistakes while doing it? And what kind of mistake? Maybe outline one mistake for people who are watching or listening, aspiring entrepreneurs, younger than you, older than you. What kind of well, the general advice would be to keep on going and keep on persevering and keep doing what you're doing. Specifically, if something happens, maybe the cost of goods go up or the cost of shipping goes up. What would you do in a situation like that? I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, no, no, please. I think that
Do you have an example on you?
yeah, I'll give you an example. I'll answer that question, and I face that every day with obviously the economy and the rising cost of goods. For me, the rising cost of eggs. Eggs have kept rising because of bird flu and everything like that. I truly just stay the course and I eat it because I know it'll pass. And I know they say business is like a rainstorm. You just have to figure out how to dance in the rain and not get soaked to where you can just keep going, right? And that's what I try to do every day, no matter how hard it gets. I don't think some people understand like how hard it is to keep it going, how many years. Like there's one story that says, man, you've been pushing, year three's tough, but you didn't know this, but year four was a year you're going to break out. And a lot of people say, man, they get to year 4 and 5, and that's when they really saw it explode. And if they stopped, man, I see all this, the challenges and everything that I'm facing as little steps to get me to where I'm ultimately going to be.
Right.
Um, but I think, but I think to give you an example, it was truly going with the wrong box
Yeah.
the first time and
Right.
spending all that money because I
Yeah.
didn't have any funding. I spent. I'm embarrassed to say how much money I spent because you type in you're working with somebody and you say, okay, I just hope it goes good, and I got it. I'm like, man, like what did I do? Like this isn't me. I need to change this. But and I had to eat it, but I didn't give up because I knew if I kept searching for it, there was something out there, and I just had to. And I learned from it. Right? You make a mistake, you either learn from it or you got it right. So I'm like, okay, I got this wrong. I need to pivot, which was my word of 2024. I need to pivot and change to do what I want. And I'll look back on this 5 years from now and saying I learned from it, and it was one of the best things that taught me that I need to really find a company to integrate into that shares my same feeling and passion, which I'm so happy I found Half Price Packaging and you guys, especially you.
Thank you.
From the text seriously, from the text and emails I sent you at whatever times of night, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm so sorry to bother you, but can we change this? Can we change this?" I hope you saw how passionate I was about it because I saw how passionate you were with your answers in the calls and everything. I'm like, man, I just want this to be great. This is my life. I want to put the best I have in it. I felt kind of burnt the first time with the first packaging got. I'm like, I can't make that mistake again. So let me go into more detail of what I want, and let's just keep doing draft after draft until I get it. And to this day, and I know you're holding one up too, but I got mine always on my
There
table
you go.
here because I it's the first thing when you walk into our home. It's sitting on the table every single day. So as soon as I walk in, I note that this is my goal and this is where we're at now. And I'm so happy with what I have now that it's been better and I learned from it. And that is my prize at the end of learning from was finally finding something that I was proud of having,
Your
you know?
brand does have a very strong presence online, and I know it's a very growing brand, especially your Instagram page is pretty growing, and I want to see how much you what's your approach to marketing? How it's a pretty competitive space out there. So how do you approach marketing? I see you making a lot of reels. I see you doing a lot of content online, and I just want to ask you, how do you approach online marketing, and how do you what kind of a message do you want your customers to take away when they see the box, when they look at the brownies, when they consume the brownies, when they consume your product? What kind of a message would you like to provide? What you expect your clients get when they use your product?
Yeah. So definitely a two-part question there. I think marketing online is, I would say, difficult, right? It's such a saturated space where everybody is vying for clicks, they're vying for attention, they're vying for products. And but there's no better time to do it with how many things are out there to help you produce it and help you get good at it. And I'm still learning. It's
Absolutely.
amazing how much is out there. And there's a other podcast I listen to where the guy keeps saying, you just got to do it. Just start it. It doesn't matter if your first video, whatever, is crap. At least you're learning. And I try to shout out the noise of everybody that is negative and like, listen, man, first of all, hey, you watched. So I got you there. And I'm just trying and I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I'm not afraid to market what I truly believe in. And I try to market videos that show that, hey, this company is chef driven. It's made by a very well trained chef. It's all fresh and it's made from somebody that's having fun with it. Like I don't have to do videos. I'm just cooking videos, but I do it because I love it. I'm passionate about it. I want people to know where their products comes from and the person behind the product. It's fun. And usually if I ever get a comment, a DM, I always respond back so I know that people know that I care, I'm listening, and I do shut the negativity a lot of the time, but sometimes I truly thrive on it, right? Because be it good, bad, or indifferent, you're still paying attention, right? That's the biggest thing in marketing. There's no such thing as bad marketing out there. There's no such thing as bad viewership as long as people are checking out what you're doing and you market it right. But I also want people to know that it's a great product. It's elegant. It's what I want them to have. And I think when they see it, they're gonna really respect the flavor and everything behind it because they know I'm using the best products and everything to get it to them as well. But I'm still learning marketing every single day and what I need to do better, where I need to change, where I need to pivot, where I need to lean to, be it Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all these places that the good thing is it's all free. You don't pay anything, right? You have your phone, you make a video, you post it. It doesn't cost you anything.
Nothing.
So why
Not a
not
dime.
do it? And you got to hit on one. And that's why I said, like, my wife helped me start making these videos. And she said it takes one person to see it. And that one person, I've gone on TV twice because of one person, hey, your product looks good. Email me, bam, back on it. Right. So That's all it takes is one person to really believe in you and have your back, and it takes you to believe in it too and just not give up because it gets hard day to day to market, to produce videos, to keep going. You get tired, you get frustrated. Okay, this video didn't do well. My marketing didn't do well. What happened? Hey, I didn't see sales. I didn't see the revenue I thought was going to happen from this. What's going on? And you just got to keep riding the wave. Because some days we'll have great days, will go bad. And some days like, man, I didn't even try. And how are we doing this level of business right now? It's insane. So I would just say, don't give up and keep going. It 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you'll grow your kingdom hopefully and keep it rolling.
Yeah, yeah. It does take
Uh-huh.
one person to know what's going on. Plus, also, you like you said, I definitely agree with the point of good mark. There's no such thing as good marketing or bad marketing. However, if you're if a client is indifferent towards your product, then that's something to be concerned about when they have no feeling regarding that product. But yeah, good marketing or bad marketing, as long as there is marketing, they're looking at your product and they're trying to see what's up. It's just about making your customer, your client feel something, and you definitely make
Yes.
them feel something about your product. And what, as far as the your product is concerned, and I think you're right. It takes one good person to know. I believe in the same philosophy as well. I have a podcast. Personally speaking, I have a podcast of my
Yeah.
own. Whenever I come to Pakistan to visit our facility, I do it in Pakistan. It's in a different language, and I am not definitely not going for the viewership because I haven't paid anything about for my marketing as well. Like you said, it's all free, but my
Yeah.
marketing strategy is just very simple, not too much, and I just want people to watch my podcast and just see what kind of guests I bring on my podcast and
Uh-huh.
what kind of how I can show those guests to the world through my lens, and that's what my goal is. I'm definitely not after reaching out for views. I don't do any paid marketing. However, I try to keep it very simple and show my
Uh-huh.
viewers as long as I get one view, I'm happy, and that's all I
Yeah.
want. But I get more than one view. I get hundreds, thousands, and I'm really glad that I do it because I love doing it. Just like you, you're passionate, you're in love with what you do, and I think I'm kind of like the same way, but I'm also learning. I'm on my eighth episode of my personal podcast. It's called the
Awesome.
Hey There Ali podcast. Yeah, I'll send you a
Yeah.
link, and it's going very well. And I think one of the videos people really hated on. They were like, "My God, what kind of an interview or what kind of a podcaster are you? You don't even know how to ask questions. That's not the way to talk and whatnot." And I'm like, "Hey, this is giving me power.
Uh-huh.
People are reacting to the bad stuff that I'm doing, which is not necessarily I wouldn't consider it bad, but I just think
Yeah.
in
No,
the
I agree with
comment
you.
section, yeah, people just go
Yeah.
crazy in the comment section, and I think you're right. It just takes one person to believe in you and change whichever path that you're on. Uh, as far as
Okay.
your culinary,
Can I double down on that, by the way? But what you said is very true, right? Because you still elicited an emotion from it. You still elicited a feeling, be it negative or positive. You still drew out from somebody to
right?
watch it and comment their feelings on it. And that's what I do with this. Like sometimes I'll post videos, I got like 20 or 30 comments saying how much I suck and stuff. I'm like, listen, you can feel the
Yeah.
way you feel. I'm not gonna take away your feelings, but you watched the whole video and you felt such emotion that you actually took the time to comment on a 30-second video and really put your emotion out there. I did my job. And so did you,
However,
right?
there is some constructive criticism too in the comment section. Some
Agreed.
people are playing out, just calling you out on nothing. But sometimes there's
Yeah.
constructive criticism, and I do take into consideration those
Hmm.
criticisms. But sometimes it's just playing out, hating on you for no
Oh yeah.
goddamn dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Jeez, Lord,
Yeah.
what the hell
Agreed.
is
And
that?"
yeah, and when I read it, I laugh, I smile, and I move on. I move on.
Yeah,
But some of the stuff I like, if it's constructive, I'll message back via YouTube, Instagram. I'll be, hey,
I
thank
do
you
the
very
same thing.
much.
I'm like, hey, listen, thank
Yeah.
you for your comment. I appreciate it. But to the negative ones, even I do that. I reply on the negative ones, but I reply it in such a way that I'm taking huge shots at them. I'm like, my God, you
Yeah.
guys suck for commenting like that. But most of the time, I just ignore it as well. But
Agreed.
I wanted to get back on your culinary experience. We do have a client in the same boat as you, but he is very well. He's been in the business for a while, and he has reached the point that he has a very good customer base now. He has over 30,000 Instagram followers, and he has a brick and mortar. He is a chef, culinary chef as well. I'll send you his link just for a reference, just
Please.
to know where
Yeah.
you would like to go in the future. Just to maybe it'll help you get a path towards where you want to be. But he's a guy. He's married. He's out of Texas. He's got a wife and kids. He's got a website. In his website, he shows a picture of his family. He owns a chocolate store, Artisan Chocolates, and he has a brick and mortar down in Texas. And we make his packaging. We made his boxes, and
Yeah.
they cost a lot. His boxes cost a lot, but his box costs a lot too because he's been in his small town of Texas for so long that he created a customer base that just want his chocolates. All he does is make assorted chocolates. He's got a 24 piece box, a 12-piece box, and a 6-piece box. And it's just chocolate, man. It's just chocolate. I've never tasted it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like in the same direction. It's kind of like he reminds me of the future you, because he's got a nice family, kids. It's great. I'll send you his page. You can look at him.
Oh, please. And
Well,
show
he's
him
a
some love.
potential
And
client. He's not a client yet. I'm trying to make him
yeah,
my client. Pray that he
I
does
think
become
you
my
will.
client.
Yeah.
But definitely look him up. I believe that would be very helpful in establishing the future of your company wherever you want it to be. But great, he's a chef just like you, culinary chef. Uh, did chef has studied in culinary arts his whole life,
Hmm.
and he's been going at it, man. He's now uh, family man, uh, just like you are, and just aiming to be better at the culinary arts that he practices. And I think I'll show you his Instagram and his
Yeah.
website. You'll be able to see what he does, and
Yeah.
definitely because you are in the same industry as he is, so that's why I wanted to inform you regarding that. But again, I want to ask you one more time just your experience. It kind of makes me feel like so. I don't know. I've never studied. I don't know how culinary education works. Did you specialize in desserts, or is it like a main degree that you get and then you do some sort of specialization, or is it just a general uh, culinary degree? How does how does that?
Yeah, I'll go into that. So I actually specialized in pastry arts
Oh,
because I fell in love with it because I think it
because
teaches
I
you
see
the
you make
savory
steak
side.
all the time. You make steak
Yeah,
all
I
the time.
do. Yeah, yeah, I do it both because I think pastry teaches you the fine details. You have to weigh everything, you have to measure it, you have to bake it, cook it at a certain degree, you have to pull it out, you have to let it rest, you have to cut it. It's also precise. And I wanted to take that preciseness and then move it onto some savory dishes, which I do a lot of cool components on there and everything like that. But some culinary schools and wherever you teach do it just as a whole. They'll do like blocks like college. Okay, you got 5 weeks of pastry, 5 weeks of savory, 5 weeks of bread, 5 weeks of this. And I decided to go the pastry route for 2 years to learn that way and be taught and then teach myself the savory way because I find savory a bit easier because it's much more forgiving, much more forgiving. You can change everything basically on the fly. But I specialize in pastry because I just fell in love with the colors, the textures, and that's what people get on their most special days. I care about the wedding cake. I don't care about the entree. Do you know what I mean about stuff like that? I Give me
Entrees.
my birthday cake. Yeah, like an
Yeah.
entree, like a plate. So I really want to specialize in that. I love it, man.
I really I saw your latest video about a steak, and I love steaks myself, and you make a pretty mean ribeye, I gotta say.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
say.
It's all in the sear. It's all in the crust, and it's just simple, man. It's literally salt, pepper, butter, and oil in the pan. Get it ripping hot. 2 minutes on every side. Cook it for 6 minutes at 400 degrees. Perfect medium
Yeah,
rare
but
every
it's
time.
not as easy as it sounds. I mean, the way you tell it, it's easy, but whenever I get to cooking steaks, I don't not even well done. It's overly done.
Yeah. But
I did work in a steakhouse though. I used to work in a steakhouse. I used to work at a Longhorn. Have you ever been to a
what do you think
Longhorn?
of it? I have. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used to work there. I used to work
Did
there.
you enjoy it? Did that? What did you think of the culinary side of life? Like working in a kitchen. What did you think of it?
I worked in the kitchen. I worked in as a
Okay.
server. I worked as a bartender.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been in this restaurant industry for like 2 years, so I'm pretty familiar with that. The way that we cooked steaks over there was just, I think it's a corporation, so they give you a standard. It's the
Yep.
standard way of cooking it, so it's great. I used to eat the porterhouse. They had a porterhouse. They had a 12-ounce ribeye, a 20-ounce ribeye. Used to just devour the whole thing with some, some. We used to have a Parmesan topping on it too, Parmesan crust on top of the steak. That really kicked it. That definitely hit the spot with that. And yeah, I think it's a pretty busy restaurant. Relationship between a chef and a server, I think, is very, like whenever you go to the window, the servers are already pressurizing the chef. Hey man, hurry
Oh
up!
yeah.
Table two's waiting,
Yep.
or table five's waiting. Hurry the hell up, dude! What are you doing?
Yep.
And
I've been
that
there.
probably happened to you as well, right?
Always, and I just say, hey, listen, do you want
Yeah,
good food or not? Because if I give you what I have now, you're going to come right back and say they didn't like it. So
yeah.
do you want to wait the extra 3 minutes so you get a better tip and they like their food? And just tell them, hey, man, listen, your food's going to be a little longer. The chef is making it perfect for you, and you hit the hospitality touch, and you come back, hey, chef says thank you very much. Here's your beautiful food. Let us know how it tastes. Thank you for waiting.
And
And
sometimes
that
when have you had that situation with when it's cooked under or cooked over, and then they come back
oh
to you,
yeah,
they're like, "Hey man, what the hell is this?" Does it piss you off sometimes, or does it make you like, "Hey, come on"? Because whenever I did that, and whenever I brought the plate back to the chef, they made a face. They made a face for sure.
I think I've been doing it for so long that I just want to give the customer what they want. So let's say they order a
Yeah,
medium rare, and I gave them medium rare, but it wasn't in their minds what they think it is.
yeah,
It's my
exactly.
it's my job to give them what they think it is. So if I'm like, man, I cooked that to 130, it's the perfect mid rare. I know it is. They're like, well, they don't think it is. It's my job to give them what they want. So I kind of hit my ego out the door and I say,
Right.
listen, what do they want? And I just give it to them. So I don't get mad at that anymore. I used to when I was younger. I used to blow up, yell at the servers, slam stuff down. What do you mean? I'm blah blah blah. But now I'm like, you know what? They came
Yeah.
here. They're spending their
I th-
money for us. Let's just give them what they want.
Exactly. I think
You know?
I think as a person that I've met you and I've known you for so long, about the whole time that I've known you, I think you're a very
Yeah.
patient individual and you're very perseverant. You have a lot of perseverance and I think there's a very few people like you who are very uh, calm, composed, and empathetic towards other people. And I think that's a very good trait to have, especially
I
in the
appreciate it.
restaurant industry. I'm very impressed by the way you carry yourself, your personality, and I think that I would definitely want. I'm definitely aspired to be someone like yourself because I think that's sometimes I feel like if you are in a situation if you have a personality such as yours,
Yeah.
sometimes get walked over on and sometimes get used. But
Uh-huh.
I think you've developed that kind of a shield or some sort of I would say, a defense mechanism that helps you avoid bad situations. Have you developed that kind of a thing? Because I think you have such a great personality, such a likable and good
Yeah.
personality. But how do you manage to get away from bad things?
Well, yeah. So I think that's a very good question, actually, because usually you're in the hospitality industry, stuff like that. The chef, whatever's behind that, is always egotist. Gordon Ramsay, right? Always just on the edge of exploding, right?
Always.
And then usually a calm person like, oh, whatever, and they don't understand that I've been so long. If
But
I'm not calm,
I don't
something.
think being like whatever would work in your industry. Just saying like, hey, listen, this if you have a couple of people working under you and you used to say whatever, but you look like that person who is like whatever, but I know you're not. I know you're not that
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
because
No. No, I'm
I've
not.
spoken to you
Yeah.
over the phone. I know you personally, not well on a very professional level. So
Yeah.
how do you go about being all about business? Because you have to be about business. So how do you portray that without sounding like a bad guy?
Yeah. I think I just portray it through. I try to let my first of all my personality shine because I am not going to lie to myself for who I am. I think so many people are afraid of who they are and they dive into another persona that's not them and then they get caught. I am myself, be it good or bad or indifferent. You're going to perceive me the way you are. I am always going to stay true to myself because it's my life. And it's the way I want to do business. And you're either going to do business with me or you're not. You're going to listen to me or you're not. And I just show that by my caring, my trust, my passion in the business has got me this far because they're like, man, listen, this guy doesn't scream, he doesn't yell, he doesn't go, but to see him with a plate of food and how much he cares about us, the customer, and who he's serving, I've never had a staff or not get behind me ever, ever in my life. I always can build a team. I can always let them go by teaching and by learning. And when I'm sitting in a business, man, I'm like, listen, hey, here are my non-negotiables, right? I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to yell, but here's what I expect. And let's hammer it out to get this done as a team or as a group or just what works for you and what works for me, right? Let's marry it up. And I also think if I'm going to play it into fitness, right? A lot of hospitality industries, they go into drugs, they go into drinking alcohol and everything like that. I went into the gym. I get so much aggression and build up stuff when I put these on, listen to heavy metal and bench 400 pounds, squat 500 pounds, do reps with 120-pound dumbbells, because that's where I get my control. That's where I get all my anger out of. And that's where I think too. I'm like, listen, is it really worth it getting all bent up out of shape over something that might just be a really good conversation with somebody? Like
No,
I have a
don't think
wife,
so.
I have a kid. Like it's not worth it. And
Oh,
I'm
really?
lying
That's
to myself.
congrats on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think I just don't want to lie to myself. I always want to stay true to myself. And I also think being a father helps. You have no choice but to learn patience. And if you don't learn patience, your child will grow up in a broken home. They I was raised a bit harder, but you need to be able to talk and have conversations so people understand and so they're not afraid. There's so many people afraid to speak their mind because they're afraid of the consequence. What happens if you can just speak your mind and actually relate to somebody, talk to them on a deeper level and understand what they're coming from, where I'm coming from, and just meet in the
Absolutely.
middle,
That's very
you
important
know?
to be. That's a very important trait to
Yeah,
have whenever you're trying to have a conversation and just being empathetic and knowing that, okay, this person, where that person's coming from, being able to listen rather than just spewing out what you have to say. So I think that's very difficult.
exactly.
It's a bad trait to have when you want to speak over somebody and get your point across. There's ways to get your point across by not
Yep.
talking over somebody or uh, interjecting or interrupting someone. However,
Hmm.
sometimes when you don't do that, when you listen to people, when you don't speak over other people, some people might take that as your as a weakness, take that as your weakness, and then they start imposing themselves a little bit more on you. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah.
They
So,
think
so I
you're a
have,
sucker when you're not.
yeah, so I can see that. I have not, right? So I don't know maybe if it's my size, if it's something like that, the way my demeanor builds up.
Your
But
size
I'm like,
does
listen,
help. Your size helps you.
hey,
However, imagine yourself not being in your size. Imagine yourself being 5'6" or
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah. So let me imagine that. But I see it as a way, like, I think when you start trying to impose your will, speaking over somebody, I think you've already lost the conversation. It's like
I
if you
think
have to start,
right now
you've lost the plot.
right. Yeah, you have. Do you really? You think so? Because some people do get. I think aggression. Do you get aggressive where you need to be?
Yeah, I certainly do. I tell people when I've led staffs, I'm like, listen, I am calm, cool, and collective, but if it is intangible, needs to be met, I get my game face on. Like I will come to like, okay, man, chef means business today. Let's get on. If it's for a high client, if it's whatever it needs, I can get that on to where they see the day to day. But when it's time to go and it's fourth down and we need to get this done, I will do anything it takes, life or death, to get that done. And then they see that side of me as well. And they see just the serious bull side. Like we are getting this done. You're either with me or you're done. Right? I've done that several times in my career. I've had to let people go. I'm like, listen, are you with me or not? Nope. Bye. There's the door. Because we are here for the guest. We're here for them. They are not here for us. We are here for them. So if you want to sit here and talk over me and stuff like that, there's a door. I'm the leader. Goodbye. And that's how I kind of go through it. And then respect is earned. It's either you got to respect me for what I've been doing, and if you don't, you need another leader, somebody that you can relate to as well. When you're in my kitchen, it is my rules, no matter what. You know what you signed up for, and if you don't want to follow them, there's another job for you, but it's not going to be here because I've grown this so much and spent so much of my time doing it. You're not going to ruin it for me, And then they see the gym side of me, they see the serious side, they see that side that just comes out, which it does. 99% of the time I'm cool, calm, collective, like to laugh, have fun like any other human being. But when it comes to business, you got to perform. That there is no
You
underperform
have
because
to.
once you underperform, that's when you start losing credibility. You start
Got it.
losing customers. They're like, man, listen, he's been good, but what happened? Like, what's going on? And it's nobody else's fault but your own, truly. So
I think
that's
I
kind of
think
what I
you're
do.
the person who sets the rules first, and then if somebody,
Yep.
I think you also give them a do you also let your employees or the people working under you, do you let them know that, hey, these are the rules, and if you cross them, I'll give you a chance, maybe a strike one, strike two, or a strike three? Do you do that?
One chance.
Okay.
You get one, and that's a very serious conversation. If you ever heard like coming to Jesus talk, that is a very like, listen, here's your chance. You have one more, or we're gonna go separate ways
Do you tell
because
them
it
right off
has
the
to be
bat?
this way.
You let your
Yep.
employees know right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And no
I
matter who I'm
actually had a
talking to, I
professor like
hire
that in
everything.
college. When I was in college, I had an English professor, and she was very calm and collected. Her name was Dr. Harlan. She was my English professor, and Dr. Harlan, she
Yeah.
was very cool, calm, collected, and she had a whole syllabus. And she said she did not negotiate on any policy that she had written down. She knew
Mm-hmm.
each and every situation that could arise in terms of negativity, and it was written on the syllabus. For example, there was, if you're late to class and you get three strikes, and she lets everybody know right off the bat that, hey, listen, these are the three strikes. If you do it, you're gonna get points deducted. And she did not negotiate. I mean, she even gave you those three strikes, and if you went over those three strikes, your points did get deducted. And I think that's a good thing to have. And I think I'm going to incorporate that into my life as well, professionally and personally. So I
Yeah.
think that's very important. That's very important for a personality like for yourself. If you're, because
Yeah.
some people are aggressive, some people are they work. There are aggressive people who are aggressive justly, and then they have their own way of running things. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
doable too. But for people who are calm, cool, and collected, in order for them to not get run over, they have to create a
Yep.
set of rules. And I think
Yeah.
those
You have
rules
to.
are something that you align with.
Yeah, and then a consequence of those rules, either consequence or I try to reward people too. Man, you've been doing a great job. You are kicking ass today. What can I do for you? Like what can I do for you? Because you are now living my dream, right? You signed up to live my dream of what I want to do. So how can I make you better? And that's why I give people the time of day. Hey, let's sit down. What are your career goals? Where do you want to go? I know a lot of people. What are you looking to do? Let me help you grow, especially in early 20s, mid 20s. Like, hey, what do you seriously want to do? Because I've lived it, I've done it. Where can you go? And I think it just goes both ways, and just being that person that they can go to and trust and see has the idea and has lived it and has done it. It's like, man, just like pro football. Not sure if you're a fan. I'm a big fan of Tom Brady. Like, man, he's been 10 Super Bowls. He's done this. He's been there.
I
He's
live in
done it.
Boston.
Just trust him. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, man, the game against the Falcons he had when they were down. What was it? The 28-3 game or whatever it was.
yeah.
Trust the man. He's been there. He's done it. No matter what you think of him, he comes through, and I always
He
comes through.
does. He
So it's like,
comes through for sure.
trust the process. Trust the process. Go on it. Whether you don't want to, whether you agree with it, it's what we're doing.
So Dwight,
You know what I mean?
what's your favorite team?
Well, I went to school in New England. I went to school in Vermont. So
Vermont. Okay.
yeah, I would say definitely not the Patriots right now. I was, and maybe I'm hopping off the bandwagon. But since I'm in Ohio now, I'm definitely a Bengals fan for sure.
Definitely a Bengals fan. I lived in Boston
Yeah,
my whole life, and I'm definitely a Pats fan. Even now, with Tom Brady and Gronk, they left, and I'm
yeah,
not that big on football, but whenever there's a game on, I just go and watch it. Grab a couple of beers,
yeah,
couple of my buddies, and eat some wings at a Hooters or something.
yep,
I don't
same.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
but
fun to watch. It's fun to watch. It's
to
it's
watch
an
for
easy
sure.
watch. It's fun to root for, and I think it's great. That's why I usually put on the TV when me and the wife are cleaning up and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, just have it on the background. If something cool comes on, we'll watch it for a little bit. But it's just neat. And I did that growing up in high school, right? And if people know how it builds great team building into
Were
your,
you
you know,
always good? Were you always a Bengals fan?
no, I would say probably the past 4 years, 4 years.
Warriors.
But I've watched them when they had Carson Palmer back in the day and all these people like that. Um, but to go on a business a little bit, I think it's you're when you're on a team, you're always going to disagree with people. You're always going to have infighting and disagree, but you're there for one reason. You're there for one goal is to win. And that's why I tell people, listen, we're going to fight, we're going to bicker, but I'm the head coach and the quarterback at the same time. Like, trust the process. We'll get through it together. It's fine to argue, but it doesn't feel good to be back in that locker room and win and be like, man, I'm joking with you, fist bumps, man. Remember I yelled at you, yeah, man, you're a jackass, whatever. Then you get together
Yeah.
and just have a good laugh at it. And that happens so much in life. So that's when you just take the good times, the bad times, and move on. And it's okay to fight. It's natural, right? It's okay to put up defense mechanism and get pissed off and mad, but as long as you're there for the same reason, you get back up the next day and keep pushing forward. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And I
No, I
think a lot
agree
of
with you.
people,
As long as you keep pushing,
yeah,
as long as
yeah,
you
I
keep
think a lot
pushing,
of
that'll work for you.
yeah, and just work through adversity. Like so many people that are younger that I would give advice to is, man, they have such a hard time working through the bad. Like when things are good, man, oh, they are good. I'm making money. I have a
Yeah.
job, but
When
times when you
they're
lose your job,
bad, that's
yeah,
different.
you lose your job. Your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever broke up with you. Your rent's past due. It's like your car won't work. It's like, man, are you going to be that same person when you were happy dealing through this, or are you going to go right down and not be able to recover? And I've always thought you got to be that same person recover because when you get through the bad times, it makes you such a better operator. And I think a better person because you know how to navigate the storm. You know there's a light on the other side. And I've seen people that have crashed and burned and never recovered, and it's so disappointing. I'm like, man, like life is 50% bad, 50% good, man. You got to get through the bad times to get back to the good times. You
Yeah.
know?
And you don't know unless you see the bad times, you won't appreciate the good times.
Man, and it's like business, man. Some days are good, days are bad, but man, when I look back, man, remember that one Wednesday where we crushed every record? That was great. We're just going through a little bit of this, and it's going to happen again because we know what it took. We've been there before, so we can get there again.
And the good thing is you got to know that you're going to face bad times in the future as well. And speaking of
Mm-hmm.
the future, what kind of scaling and future plans do you have for Dwight's Brownies Co. DB Co. Are there any
Yeah,
features or design elements you've excited to explore in the future? I know you did talk about a protein, a fitness friendly brownie. Where do you see
yeah,
yourself in a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years, or
man.
where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see DB Co? Where do you see your family? Where do you see
Yeah.
yourself? Just tell me a little bit
Well,
about.
first and foremost, I'll go deep, right? So I think it really helps when you have a nice support system and a family base, right? Like I want this company to be able to provide for my wife, my kids, and who knows what it could bring to the future of that. Uh, I know I want to create so many good things, and I just want that to be the base of it. I want to integrate new products in. I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it exciting. I want to keep it trending. I've started big stuff cookies. I might do a Buckeye cookie for Ohio State. Once it's game season, I might do all this stuff like that. Collaborating, growing. I want to go into wholesale. I want you to see my cookie in the store right there next to it. I want to develop a protein cookie where you see, okay, look, I'm in a bodybuilding section in a store, and oh man, a DBC cookie. Look at this thing. The packaging's great. The box is great. We might have to get smaller boxes in the future. I'll be with you on that. And that's just to see like this is quality. And I see it growing so hard by how hard I know I'm going to work, but I want it to be on such a large scale where it can become so much more and I can just put my passion into it and grow on social media, grow my platforms and just show people that it doesn't matter where you start. Like my mom was an immigrant from the Caribbean, had nothing to her name. I didn't grow up in the nicest house. It was small with so many people. She grew up with nothing. And to to be that person to be like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you keep working hard and just plugging away, you can make it grow. And I want to show people that I took this product that I took it from paper to integrating into an item to getting with you to making it something bigger and just bigger and bigger. I want to see that. I want to walk in the store one day and be like, hey, look what your dad did right there. And now I want you to take that and I want you to grow your passion, do what you love to do,
What
and
about a
show
brick
me
and
if you
mortar,
can.
Dwight? What about a brick and mortar? Have you also thought of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I want it probably next 3 years. I want to keep, but I want to see if I can fund it myself.
Right.
I want to see if I can do that myself and bring people in that way and maybe have one, two, three, four locations. That would be awesome. And I think I'm starting in a good place. I'm not starting too big. I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to grow, see what
Yeah.
people like. And then I can take that leap and be like, okay, I have my customer base. I have my social media base. Now let's do the next step with this and show it up and have people come in, have the lines, have the sellouts, have that, and just grow that excitement around the product. I think is definitely the next step I want.
What kind of, so the people who are watching and listening, what kind of advice would you want to give to aspiring entrepreneurs such as yourself that who are younger and who just want to be start their own company? Maybe they want to start their own brand. Maybe they are
Yeah,
at the age that you are. They've been working for a while. And what kind of a message or a maybe somebody in your field who's very
yeah,
very good at making and creating edibles and entrees and pastries. What kind of advice would you like to provide for them and let them know how to start uh their own entrepreneur journey?
yeah. I would truly say that the whole Occam razor thing, like the simplest explanation is always the right thing to do. I think just start it. Don't be afraid of what other people think, what they're going to say. Do it. Follow your heart and just do it. Where am I going to source the box? Let me Google it and find out. Let me call people, find out.
Just do
Do
it. A
people
lot of people, a lot of people
just
think
do
too
it?
much.
Pull the trigger. You overthink it. I want to make cookies, bake cookies. I need a box. Get a box. I need to figure out shipping. Go to
Get it.
every shipping place you can and get the best price. I want to be on, like I said, I want to be on TV. Put your stuff out there so somebody can notice you, and you can't be afraid to fail, and you just got to do it. You just got to do it over and over and over again until you get it right. I would say just start. Like probably you and your podcast. I want to do a podcast. Start it. Do your first recording.
That's what
Learn
I
from it.
did.
Second recording. Learn from it. Right? And it's amazing how you see where you grow and learn. Like my first video I put on Instagram and my new one, I'm like, man, I have come away. I've done editing better. I've done this better. And it's just doing it, failing, and not listening to the riffraff around you, because the people that are talking around you
A lot
haven't
of people
started.
say a lot of
They,
things.
they,
They
they,
say
they
things like, "Hey, not this. Don't do this. Don't do that." Even your family members, honestly, they talk
oh
a lot
yeah,
of crap
yeah,
about it. They say, "Hey, you're not gonna do that. You're
yeah,
not gonna go through that." And I'm like, "Come on, dude. What are you?
yeah.
What are you saying?"
And and they can be the worst, and that's why and unfortunately I've shut some people out. And I always see when you grow in yourself and your business, you lose people along the way. People that don't understand it, people that you don't jive with anymore. Because listen, I'm working towards this. You might not believe where it's going now, but I know it is. So I'm gonna have to cut you out so I can grow. And then when you grow, they're like, oh my gosh, man, it worked. I always believed in you. Well, no, you didn't. But I'm gonna grow on. I think just doing it and not being afraid. I think so many people are afraid of what people think about them, what they say. I will do whatever it takes. I'll do me because that's who I am. And I'm just going to continue to do it and grow. And I would give that advice. Start it. Just just block all the noise and just keep pushing forward to what you believe in and what you know is going to grow. Use everything you've learned in your life to keep it going. Learn to fail, learn to grow. Take the good advice and find that one person that will support you and learn your dream. Like I know you and me are gonna have so many different conversations of where this business is going to go and my needs and whatever happens, but you understand it. You understand the passion behind it. You understand the work it takes to do this out, and you understand. I think sometimes to grow a business, you have to be a bit crazy. I say that in the best way possible because you always
You
think about
got
it. You
you got to be
obsess
a
about it.
bit.
You have to be obsessive about it. You have to even the little things like, man, do you really care about it? Yes, I care about this is 2 inches away from this space right here. It needs to be right here. And then you just see you care about it. I think you just have to be so obsessive and crazy about it that it's going to work and you don't care what people think. And that's I think where I'm at in my life. I want it to work and it's working. I just need to continue to grow. So I'm like, let me bring the positive in because I'm a pretty positive guy. And if you're negative about it, move on with your day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for buying my product. If
Right.
I need to fix it from a client, I'm going to fix it for them. I'm going to give them the world because they know I care about them. But just start it, man. It's the start it and see where it goes. And I mean, my gosh, you see all these things of where Amazon started in that guy's garage, man, and nobody believed it. Man, that man was in so much debt. People laughed at him, laughed at off talk shows, podcasts, whatever he was on. Okay, he's the second richest man in the world because he saw that people wanted to buy things online, and you guys laughed at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think it truly matters what you believe in your heart, and you just keep pushing, and people never see it until they see it. Like bodybuilding, I take it. You start with, oh man, I was so small in high school, and I started just believing, oh, you're never going to be fit, you're never going to bench 200 pounds, whatever. I didn't listen to him. Like, you know what? I'm going to do me, and I kept going and going. And one person saw him, like, man, is that you? I'm like, yeah, like, damn, did you ever, man, you did it. I'm like, yeah, I did because I never gave up, you know. I just kept going at it, and I love it, and and it turned into me, right?
Yeah,
So
same thing with bodybuilding or any other aspect of your life that you
yeah,
start off small, then you keep on going big. You start benching what, 50 pounds, and you bench 100, you go to hit
yep,
150, and then you start doing. Recently, I hit a 225 PR recently. I'm like, wow, dang, I thought I was never going to do a 225, and I finally did it. And I was
yeah,
pretty
that's
excited
huge.
for myself.
Yep,
So after I did the 225, I was like, wow, I did it. And it took me a while to reach that point, but I kind of reached that
yeah,
plateau with 225 because I'm still at that 1 or 2 rep range for the 225. I'm like, you know
hmm,
what? I want to go for 315, and then
uh
I don't
huh.
know how I'm going to do that. It gets harder and harder, but eventually, I
I
believe
got
I
there. You'll
will.
get there. You'll get
Yeah,
there. It took me
yeah,
until I
for
was
sure.
36. After injuries and going for it, now I can rep 315 for probably if I needed to, probably 10 or 15 times. I'm like,
Yeah,
man, am I really doing this? And I finally got there. Now I can do four, and now I want to get 450.
yeah.
Okay, it might take 2 years, but it's just exciting. I think that's the same growth
How
in
about
business, right?
585? Are you going to go to 585?
Oh, I'm about 231. I'd have to gain
Are
a
you
lot
a
of weight.
wrestling fan? Do you watch wrestling at all?
Oh, pro wrestling?
Yeah.
I love it. Me and the wife watched WrestleMania last
Oh,
night for
you
two
did?
nights, Saturday and Sunday. Oh, of course, yeah. I love it. I
Speaking of
love it.
585, I don't know. There was a segment with Scott Steiner, I think a while back.
Uh,
He said
Big
something.
Papa Pump, man.
Yeah, he was like, hey, he was like, you know how he talks, right?
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
listen. And
yep.
then he was like, load up the bench. And then you know what he said? He said, put up 585 for starters. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, for starters? Dude,
Yeah,
that's too much, Scott Steiner.
man, he's a big guy, man,
Dude,
and
he's
that
huge.
that got me into bodybuilding because I was younger and I saw Triple H and all these guys come out. I'm like, man, they look so
Yeah,
cool, and you get into it as a kid. I'm like, I want to look like that as a grown man, and I finally got there. I'm like, it's such a fun watch. It's crazy you said that because we were just talking about it today and watch it out and
what, Scott
it,
Steiner or professional wrestling?
pro wrestling,
Oh, pro wrestling. Yeah,
pro
it's
wrestling.
yeah. When we're talking about 585, it reminded me of that segment. Just YouTube and watch what he says. Just YouTube like Scott
I'm gonna
Steiner
have
and
to.
bench press
Yeah,
competition. He did a bench press competition in the ring, and then he said that I'm like 585, and then when he said for starters, I'm like, dude, come on, it's for starters.
that that
That's a bit too much.
Dustin. I
But
don't know any
he was
human
one
that
of
can do
those
that in my life.
individuals who started. He was pretty jacked. Scott Steiner was pretty jacked.
Yeah. His whole family is, and his brother's son wrestles now, and you can tell he
Yeah.
looks like him. Like they are big humans, man. Like they have genetics on their side. They really do.
Yeah,
And
not only
yeah,
just aesthetics, but also strength. Because his
yeah,
nephew is pretty strong.
and
He's
it's
strong.
insane, man. But I think it just starts from that. And if you're not strong and stuff like that, just go for it. I started taking my wife to the gym, and she said she was a lot of people I think are afraid to go into something they don't know, starting a company, going to the gym. They have this preconceived notion of it's scary, it's going to be so like that. And she walks in now, and she's just regular. Okay, all it is people working out. They're lifting heavy things up and down. And usually people that are really cool, they just want to get better, right? And same as business, man. I just want to get better. And if I go into a couple things like that, and I'm not the most polished, hey, at least I'm here. I'm here, right?
Right. At least
I
you're
got my
here. You're
seat. I
showing
got,
up, and you're doing what you got to do.
yep,
That's what
that's it.
matters.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people: show up, do what you got to do, man. You got to show up at least. So,
Yeah, I mean,
sh-
at the very least, you have to show up, and just that's because if you don't show up, then there's no point of doing anything else. If you're not even there.
yeah,
But
yeah, like
what is
your
the
ideas here, like all my ideas here, that they live on paper, but you got to put this thoughts on paper, and you
yeah?
got to
There's
make it
something
real
about
life,
writing
man.
something down with a pen and
Oh,
paper, which does ignite or spark something rather than
hmm,
typing it. Even though typing is cool too, but you sometimes
yeah,
writing it down also helps a lot. Are you? Let me see if I can get Tyler on here if you want to speak to him.
sure, yeah, but bring them up. I
Yeah,
got
let
a
me
little bit
see if
more
he's.
time before
Yo,
I got to do
Jason,
my
Jason,
before my husbandly duties.
Jason, 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 Jason. Do me a favor, Jason. Could you get Tyler over here and tell him that Dwight wants to see him on the podcast? Tyler.
Yeah, please. He's been blowing up my phone, so I gotta.
Yeah. He's a pretty big
Listen,
guy. Tyler's a pretty
is
big
he? Oh,
guy.
cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
I'm pretty
I
big
am
too, dude.
working.
I'm trying to work out a little
Dude,
bit. A
listen, there we
little
go,
bit.
man. It doesn't, that looks good.
How big?
You just
Let me
got to
see.
keep
Look
going,
at you.
man.
I know you probably packing
I,
a lot of weight over
I
there
don't
too.
know.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's an
huge.
okay size. I'm more like bigger in the chest area and stuff like that, which I
Yeah,
got kind of
yeah.
going on. But I still have
I
different
got
parts I
some
got to work
I
on.
got
And
some traps going on too, but I'm trying to what I'm morely focused on my core. I
yep,
want to get big. It's not that I don't. I like core exercises too. I just want to get that muscle up going on and get some, internal core
yeah,
strength going on. So
strength and
that's
everything, man.
what I'm
It's
doing.
huge. It's huge.
I think what's your I think fitness also helps you in keeping you mentally and physically calm, and I think it helps you in the kitchen as well. By the way, your job. Tell me about your job in the beginning, your daily job, because you did tell me that you were at work. I'm sure you're
Yeah,
a chef
yeah.
somewhere.
Yep. So I like to keep working so I can see more. So I'm executive chef at Abercrombie and Fitch. Their
Really?
world headquarters in yeah they have a world headquarters
No
here in
way.
Albany, Ohio, and it's all their CEOs from down, and I do all their stuff from banquets to cafe work to everything, and and they're such a polite clientele there. So we had a big meeting today about some stuff that we need to fix and work on. So I had to have staff meetings and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the day in the life, and I use everything I do in my own business
I
to
wonder
help
what
them
kind
out.
of
And
food they eat over at Abercrombie and Fitch.
it's the best. I mean, I curate the menu for them. They can do whatever they want because
Yeah.
they had their biggest fiscal year in the company's history last year. So
Abercrombie,
I mean, they
Abercrombie and Fitch did change up their marketing as well recently. They were
hmm
very.
yeah,
I don't want to get into it, but they did change it up. I've heard about that, and
yeah.
and
I
you
watched the
telling me right now they had their best fiscal year, and of course, it seems like they're doing pretty well.
yeah, like not to go into the darker stuff like that, but that the documentary came out about them and how the business is run and stuff like that, and then they moved on and changed their marketing and who their clientele was now in this world, and then it hit off. It was very approachable, it was likable, it was for this generation, and it helped them. They changed everything. It took
Okay.
fresh minds to see it, and it exploded. And I
I
kind
think
of was like,
Tyler's in a
okay,
meeting. I think he didn't show up, but I'll
oh
have him give you a call to see how the
yeah,
podcast.
have them give me a call. And then what you say about fitness, I think it's important too, because man, it goes beyond saying if you eat right, if you work out a little bit, if you have positive attitude, it can just take you really far. It gets your mindset. It eases. It's been shown. It gives you dopamine. It relieves stress. It doesn't add on anything. It just makes you feel better. I think if you just try to live a healthier lifestyle, it can take you a lot of places.
Yeah, and
You
being
know?
in a healthy lifestyle doesn't mean you deprive yourself of food or you deprive
Yeah.
yourself.
No.
You don't want to go hard in the gym. Even a little walk does wonders. Even just a
Mm-hmm.
little 5,
Yeah.
10, 20, 30 minute walk. There's a lot of things that, I don't know, people just think that eating and having a healthy lifestyle involves eating, like, I don't know, grilled stuff or going hard in the gym and benching a lot or squatting a lot. It's not that at all. It's just
Nope.
small baby steps. You don't
It's the
have to.
consistency. Just be consistent. Do a little bit. I don't get to the gym every day. Sometimes I say, hey, just want to go on a 20-minute walk with me really quick. Okay. But just be consistent and be active. Like I have my son, I try to have him play outside, man. Like go outside, move your body a little bit, and you'll see what it really gives you.
It does. It does help you a lot. And grounding helps you. I walk a lot of barefoot on the ground a lot of times, and it helps me a lot of times too because it's really connects me to the earth. I just feel great as my feet touch the ground. Instantly, I feel like recharged or something. I
It's
don't
funny,
know.
so right now I'm barefoot. And secondly, my mom from the Caribbean, she walks outside. She does all her lawn care and stuff. She walks barefoot when I was growing up in the gravel on hot asphalt in the grass. She's like, why am I going to put on shoes and socks about my feet? I'm like, fair enough. And it just makes you feel like one with nature and just with the earth, man. Just you just feel great about yourself about that. I'm glad you said that. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
So Dwight, I want to finish this off with
Yeah, please.
something, and I just want to ask you where the viewers and the listeners, where can they find your brownie company, Dwight's Brownies Co. Where can they find it on Instagram and other platforms on the internet, and how can they place an
Yeah.
order of your delicious and scrumptious brownies?
Yeah, easy. Just find us on Dwight's Brownies Co. on Instagram. DBC Co. is the handle. Find us on YouTube as well, same handle. And on our website, dbcco.com, you can place your order on Instagram, through Instagram Shop, and through the website, or just shoot me a DM, right? So
And then
I'm here for you.
you'll send them a bunch of brownies in the mail, and then
Yep. And
they'll enjoy.
they'll love it. Yeah, they'll be lifelong customers and enjoy it and find
Perfect.
me, and we can talk, chat, and whatever you need. So that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dwight. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This was such a great show that I
Yeah.
had. It was
Thank you,
so
Ollie. I
smooth
appreciate it.
and so wonderful. I mean, it was very refreshing to have a conversation with you. It just makes my day just went a little bit better because it was very refreshing to speak to someone who shares a lot of the values like I do of being
Yeah.
empathetic and being kind,